Hi, my name's Isaac Shutt. I'm an estate planning attorney. I'm licensed to practice law both in Texas and in Wyoming. And in this video, we'll talk about one of my favorite things in the whole world, and that is the living trust, sometimes called a revocable trust or a revocable living trust. It all means the same thing. I love living trusts, and they're incredibly popular for a number of reasons. So let's dive into what benefits a living trust offers over a last will and testament. Well, the most common reason that people say they prefer a living trust over a last will and testament is that it avoids probate. Now, if you didn't know already, probate is the legal process that every will is required to go through when you pass away. Now, that's typically going to require a probate attorney, so there you have legal fees. And you're also going to have some delay because that probate attorney has to take the will to probate court with the probate judge to get the will validated. And that's really sort of what probate is. So as you can imagine, you're talking about thousands of dollars in attorney's fees and a delay because now you're waiting on some lawyer and a probate judge to get together and have a hearing and all that nonsense when it could have been avoided with a living trust. So that's a huge feature of the living trust is if you do it right, you can avoid the legal probate process, which saves hassle, which saves time, which means people can manage the assets more quickly, and it saves a lot of money. So living trusts are popular because they avoid probate often. Now, also living trusts are popular because they give you privacy. Now, I'm not one of these cynical people that says, I think the world is out to get me or anything like that, but I am one of those people that says, you know what? If I can keep prying eyes off of my assets, that's probably a good thing. And so if you're interested in keeping the public from knowing all of your assets, then you're probably going to be a little bit more interested in a living trust. And that's because, at least here in Texas, when you file a will for probate, did you know that the will becomes public record? That means everybody gets to see who your relatives are and who's getting what. And also, most probates require an estate inventory, which means the executor has to list all of your assets and their values and the accounts in the public record. And so if you're interested in keeping as much information out of the public's eye as possible, then you're probably more interested in the living trust as opposed to a wills-based plan. Now, that privacy also has sort of a benefit in terms of asset protection. Now, I don't normally think of a living trust as an asset protection tool, although we have other tools that are available for us for asset protection, but the living trust is really more of a probate avoidance kind of thing. But it does have sort of an asset protection benefit in as much as while you're alive, you can sort of keep things out of the public record in terms of what you own, i.e., how deep your pockets are by transferring your assets to the living trust while you're alive. So basically, if somebody's, on their keyboard trying to search up your name in the search engines and use that to find out how wealthy you are because they want to know if it's worth it to sue you, if you had your assets in the name of your trust, well then when somebody's searching up your name to see how deep your pockets are to see if you're worth suing, your assets don't even show up. So it's not that they couldn't find it if they were really good at sleuthing out, but my experience has been with these lawyers that handle those kinds of lawsuits, they're not interested in that. They are looking to see just real quickly how deep your pockets are to see if it's worthwhile coming after you. And so if you can get those things out of the public record, if you can not show the whole world what you own, that in and of itself is kind of an asset protection. So that is another tremendous benefit of the living trust. Now, personally, my favorite thing about living trusts in terms of the benefit is the customization that's offered. So when I think of a last will and testament, I think of sort of a moment in time. I think of kind of a basic document that says, look, when I die, here's who gets it. And that's kind of what a will does. And there's nothing wrong with that in some cases, but for some people, we want to customize things a bit more than that. So like, for example, sometimes we'll have a married couple that comes in and says, you know what, I've got this wonderful daughter, we love her to death and all that kind of stuff, but she's not so great managing her finances. And so for that daughter, we don't feel comfortable giving her $100,000 or $1 million in a lump sum. We just think that wouldn't be wise for her. It would not be the best interest of our daughter to give her a big lump sum like a will would do. Well, with a living trust, since you can customize it so much more, that living trust rules, they may specify that instead of giving her a lump sum, it gives her, maybe so much per month or so much per year. Or maybe it sets up a trustee to manage those assets for her benefit and to use money for her benefit as needed, maybe to help her pay for college or to help buy her a vehicle, but not give her cash outright. So you can see through those examples that you can customize the way your beneficiaries inherit in a lot of different ways. So it's not just real rigid, I die, here's who gets it. You can set up how you want them to get it. And the sky's kind of the limit in how to do that. So again, let's break down the most common benefits of the living trust. Number one, you have that probate avoidance, which saves the hassle and legal fees of a will probate after you pass away. It offers privacy in the sense that after you pass away, the whole world doesn't get to see your estate plan and how deep your pockets are. It offers a type of asset protection through enhanced privacy while you're alive. And last but certainly not least, it gives you customization ability that a will just doesn't offer. So you can give away assets in a more customized fashion through a living trust, and it's not even that hard to do. So I hope you found this video helpful. Again, my name's Isaac Shutt. I'm an estate planning attorney. I'm licensed to practice law both in Texas and in Wyoming.